So I did not want to turn this whole situation into this litigation because I just don't like the idea of women of color publicly going at it. However, there's a fine line between wanting peace and knowing when it's time to stand your ground and stand up for yourself. And a lot of people mistake the two, right? They think when you are vocal and you speak your mind and you share what is in your heart, that you are difficult. That has been the story forever. You have to embrace it. I had to embrace it. I had to embrace that I had to either make a decision to stand up for myself, to stand up for my family and my intellectual property, no matter what people thought about me at the end of the day, or to retreat, to have some fake ass sense of support and love because I was being I was acquiescing to something that I did not agree with or support. So I talked to several attorneys. I made sure that I was not risking losing everything, like unfortunately the situation I'm in today, which we're going to get into, because they come in to collect it all. But I just really wanted to make sure that, or for the time being, they've gotten the go ahead to just start collecting shit. But we're going to talk about that too. I inquired. I wanted to make sure that I wasn't risking my family and my grandson's college education and our home. My husband's a military veteran. Thankfully, we were able to have a beautiful home that we've lived in, and unfortunately, because I made the decision to lean into my rights, the judge in the case ruled in favor of Lionsgate stars and Katori Hall. And he ruled in favor of Lionsgate stars and Katori Hall, basically citing that there were not enough similarities. He, going through all of the comparisons and the chart that we're about to go through right now, he decided that he didn't see enough things in there that felt like I had a case for similarity. They have not been questioning or challenging access. He just said he didn't remember. And, he didn't remember, but the lawyer who is friends with him, who referred me to him, the lawyer's assistant who made the appointment, the PR and management company that went to the meeting with me, and myself, we all remember. But he didn't remember me coming and leaving these materials on his desk. I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember walking into his office. I remember sitting across from him. There was a table. Lynn was to the left of me. He was sitting with his back to the window with his legs crossed. And I remember thinking, dang, he looks kind of cool. He got like a whole like Mel Gibson vibe. I like it. And I remember pitching my heart out. As Katori said, she pitched her heart out to the president. I pitched before Katori. And I left the materials. I brought 2 sets of everything because I was supposed to be meeting with 2 people. This is the CEO of Lionsgate. He said he was going to go home and read the script with his family because he said he likes to read the script with his family. On the weekends, sometimes he shares ideas with his family. And he said that he would get back to me, or he would get back to my attorney, Leroy, at the time, who was his buddy, who he'd known for some years, him and John, the other John. When I did not hear back from him, I just assumed that he wasn't interested. Because you have meetings and stuff in Hollywood all the time, and if somebody not interested, ain't nothing you could do but just keep it moving. But I still kept developing Soul Kittens Cabaret. And at the time that I brought Soul Kittens Cabaret to the CEO of Lionsgate, we had already had the DVD out. The DVD had been out for since 2010. My meeting was like 13, I believe, 14. My copyright was from 2004. Copyrighted the story in 2004. the story I copyrighted, had a casino in it when I copyrighted it, had an LBGTQIA transgender non-binary host when I copyrighted it, and a girl with a little red suitcase, all the things from 2004. It didn't just happen all of a sudden after maybe I saw somebody else's idea and decided to incorporate it into mine. It was there from the beginning. So, met with CEO, left the materials, ignored it, did not think anything else of it. And then in 2020, during the pandemic,
that was my only chance because everybody else had said no by the time I walked through that door. So I basically, once again, it's like this is now or nothing. So everything that I have ever learned in my life, every stage that I have stood on, my ancestors was behind me too. They was like blowing the wind that was beneath my wings. That's what helped me, I think, pitch my heart out to the president. And then by the end of it, me and him were pitching each other story ideas about the season. So it ended up weirdly becoming this pitch session that went into a work session. And that's when I walked out, I was like, oh my God, I hope that I did okay. I hope I did okay. Oh my God. And a few hours later, I got that call.
But yeah, I want to share this comparison chart. Okie dokie. All right. Okay, y'all, hold on. So when we put this case into, when we put this case into the appeals circuit, I'm not sorry, when I filed the claim for the case, we also included, in addition to me having a Vimeo, right, you guys, of the 57 plus comparisons that I laid out, I also put together a chart detailing more specifically with photos and images. If you're on my Instagram, it's the chart that I posted a couple of days ago. But I'm going to read you guys the synopsis for Soul Kittens Cabaret, and I'm going to read you guys a synopsis for P-Valley, right? Soul Kittens Cabaret at the heart of Detroit was one of the hottest spots in town, known for revving things up. And these are they had all of this. At the heart of Detroit was one of the hottest spots in town, known for revving things up in the Motor City. Soul Kittens Cabaret, 5 women fueled it all. Detroit was synonymous with Soul Kittens. Soul Kittens Cabaret was hottest ticket in town. People would fly from everywhere to catch the kittens in action, forging fantasy with fanfare. Was their game, and they played it all so well. But in the midst of the Soul Kittens presenting to the masses all the glamour, glitz, and glad times they were going through, their own individual struggles. Follow them as they take you on a journey into their lives in Soul Kittens Cabaret, as they discover amidst the pains, pleasures, the false promises, what fame really has to offer, from catfights to conspiracy to sisterly bonding and backstabbing, dancing and dealing drugs. The Soul Kittens saw it all, and the Kittens Cabaret was at the heart of it all. It's a look into their world as they discover the real meaning of friends, family, and what you ultimately have to do to forsake them. Now, this is P-Valley's synopsis, which is very similar. Set in an infamous Mississippi shake joint called the Pink Pony, Pussy Valley is an intimate window into the unexplored strip club world where the desires of ballers, politicians collide with the dreams of 5 brave women, another group of 5 women. For these women, the line between performance and reality becomes blurred as the drama of their outside lives threaten their onstage personas. Thank you for coming from IG, Cynthia. On the quest for money, power, and respect, each woman must make a choice. For some, it's a step down. For others, it's a step up as the Pink Pony stage constantly shape shifts between platform and freedom. In this world of smoke and mirrors, who will fall and who will fly? Same sort of synopsis as Soul Kittens Cabaret. Then you have to prove, as we did, that there were substantially similar lead characters. So if you're looking at this on YouTube, as you can see very, very clearly, we have a character coming in with a red suitcase. Both arrive from nowhere with a vintage red suitcase. In both shows, they're beautiful women with the same facial features and skin tones. In both shows, the leads' personalities are both modest, desperate for a job. They're not the best performers, and they sign up to audition, take a shot, and get hired on the spot. Characters holding a secret in both shows. Another pivotal moment is that they both arrive via public transportation. Both characters check into a seedy motel in Soul Kittens and in P Valley. Okay. Both characters see a sign and suddenly audition. Both characters are told to change from their nerdy clothes. Both characters become pet owner's pet, and both are shy about their bodies and change in the bathroom. Where they do that at? Where are characters that audition for a strip club that are shy about their bodies? It's 11:11. Y'all got to say a prayer. Lord God Jesus, bless me and everybody watching this live. Bless us and keep us and strengthen us. Let us win this case. Lord God, keep our enemies far. Keep our loved ones near. Keep us healed and healthy and happy. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. 11:11. Come on, y'all. I love when I'm on the live and I get that 11:11. Okay. Second similarity, substantial lead character number 2. There is a protagonist. In this case, protagonists both depict a non-binary gender fluid person who dresses both masculine and feminine. The personality of both is no nonsense but fun loving approach to running their erotic dance clubs. They have dramatic entrances and exits through beaded curtains. Uncle Clifford enters and exits through beaded curtains, and so does Tata Burlesque. Those are little moments that identify character traits, right? Those are their signature. They both wear long nails. And here's the other part of it. Both of them inherited the club from loved ones, right? So both of them inherited the club from loved ones. They both have been in relationships with down low men. Those are substantial similarities in lead characters. How often do you see a non-binary gay man running an running a club with strippers? Doesn't happen. That was a very unique idea. Substantial similarities in lead character number 3. Same feature character, a veteran performer who establishes herself as the queen bee of the performers. Storyline, she has a troubled relationship with her mother. She has trust issues. The story arc is that this person is the main attraction until a newer, prettier mystery girl is hired, and she ultimately becomes less guarded and more vulnerable after life-changing altercation. Look at this, you guys. You can see, hold on, if you're on YouTube, you're able to see this a little bit better, but you guys see how like the Mercedes character is in her face pointing at her and cussing her out and going off on her? That is a scene where the girl got drunk in both Soul Kittens and the girl got drunk in P Valley. And she went in and was pointing in her face and letting her have it. If you look at this other picture here, I'm going to try to move it in really close. That's Cristal playing Bianca. Same thing. She plays it the same way Bianca does. Goes to the stage. Her and the other 2 girls get to fight, and it's the same thing. Also, substantial similarity in pivotal characters, right? So another thing that's really interesting in Soul Kittens Cabaret, if you guys are on YouTube, you can see this. We have a character who wears a fedora with a feather, who drinks from a flask and smokes a cigar, and it happens to be the same exact character in Soul Kittens and in P Valley. In Soul Kittens, the character's name is Frank Rudder, and in P Valley, the character's name is Mayor Ruffin. They are both plotting to take over the club. They both carry a flask. They both wear a fedora. They both plot and take over the club the same exact way. There's also, if you're looking on YouTube, you see where the girl is, the one employee is being grabbed by the neck by the ex. That whole scene happened in Soul Kittens Cabaret. One of the characters' ex came in, grabbed a coworker up by her neck and threatened to do harm, while the other character was screaming, "Let her go." And of course, the handsome, strapping young bartender who was played by Terrell Carter in Soul Kittens Cabaret, he's played by Ty Lipley, I believe. In P Valley, they have the same story arc. They fall in love with the beautiful young ingenue, and she turns on him. Same thing. In Soul Kittens Cabaret, substantial similarity in dialogue and pace. The owner of Soul Kittens Cabaret comes up behind the girl and says, "What's your name?" She says, Brandy Whitaker. In P Valley, the owner of P Valley comes up behind the new girl after she wants to come in and audition, says, "What's your name?" She says, Autumn Night, in the same cadence. Okay, don't forget, if you're on YouTube, please press like and share. The owner tells the girl that she needs to change her nerdy clothes in both Soul Kittens and in P Valley around the same time when she comes into audition. And of course, the owner directs the girl over to a rack. If you look at this wardrobe rack right here on YouTube, you guys, look at that. Same wire hangers, The character looks the same with almost the same color hair. Instagram, I'm on YouTube showing the pictures. Goes over to the wardrobe rack and asks for a bathroom to change clothes. Same situation. One of the characters gets knocked down and called a faggot in both shows. I could just go on and on and on. You see right here, the girl gets drunk. Look at that, how she's putting her shot to the face and getting drunk. That's the same scene. One character saying you having too much to drink while she takes the drink. SKC has two employees that are standing face to face, making a love connection. Every single one of these scenes, as you look at them, every one of these scenes is represented in both Soul Kittens and P Valley. In SKC, the antagonist, who is a homophobic antagonist who calls the owner a freak in Soul Kittens, also calls the owner a freak in P Valley. It's same for the same reason. There's a character in Soul Kittens Cabaret who is saving money to open up a club that is a center for women. In P Valley, Mercedes was saving money to open up a club that is a center for women. In Soul Kittens Cabaret, the OG stands around and tells the young girls that she's about to leave. The same exact thing happens in P Valley. OG comes around and acts and tells the young girl she's going to leave. Mood and setting. Both of them are venues with scantily clad, provocative dressed women. Both of them share a sexy and noir look and feel using colors like lavender, mauve, pink, purple. Both of them share LED, raggedy little stairs with an archway. Both of them have beaded curtains on the left, and both of them have dancers that not only perform striptease, but the club is also used to perform live musical performances and all that. Look at the color palette. The color palette is almost identical. Where you see Little Murder performing on the stage here on YouTube, in this chart, you can look up and you can see Faith Evans performing, and the dancers are pretty much doing pretty much the same doggone moves, right? Okay, hold on. Here's another example. And then in the end of Soul Kittens Cabaret, a female performer that nobody likes becomes an ally, and she actually becomes the owner of the club and gives the ownership to the dancers. Same thing happens in P Valley. A female performer that nobody likes becomes the owner of the club, and she shares ownership with the ladies and the dancers that are there. So at the end of the day, I could go on and on and on. The ex-husband comes in, the wife pleads to let her go. Here's another shot here if you guys are looking on YouTube. What's really crazy is look at this shot on YouTube, y'all. If y'all not on YouTube, I'm sorry, I just got the chart up so people, you can see the chart on my Instagram. But when y'all look at this chart on YouTube, the way Isaiah Washington, who's a friend of mine, by the way, comes into the club. So, right, all at the end of P Valley, the beginning scene of P Valley and Soul Kittens Cabaret both have a light-skinned, nerdy girl coming from the middle of nowhere with a red vintage suitcase to audition for a club, who gets hired on the spot, even though she can't dance, who goes to a rack and picks off some clothes and goes to a bathroom and changes those clothes, right? All of that happens in the first scene in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Then as it progresses, the whole stuff with maybe listen. Anyway, so here we go here with the antagonist, who's the guy who's coming to take over the club. It was played by Isaiah Washington. Y'all remember that scene where Isaiah Washington had on the red hat and the red thing? Y'all can see here on YouTube. And he walked in. Most of the people thought that there was some kind of funeral because they were all dressed in black. Well, those instructions are written in the pilot script that I left with the CEO of Lionsgate, that everybody thought it was a funeral. They were all playing When the Saints Go Marching In, but they were actually going up to a funeral for the club. In Soul Kittens, they were having a funeral for the Pink. And then Isaiah Washington walked in through all of the people with his fedora and leaned in and taunted them. My character did the exact same entrance, leaned in the exact same way, and taunted them the exact same way in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Also, as you see here, there's a scene in P Valley where the club is being under surveillance by this guy in an unmarked car. You'll see here in my script for Curtains, which is what I left with them, it says very clearly Atlanta, Midtown, because of course if it's a play, I can't write all the street directions and I can't have all other stuff because it's on a stage. Because this was a pilot for a dramatic series, it is written as a dramatic series. And it says, Ponce de Leon, red light district, bustling with people. There's a detective, mid-40s, black, undercover, yet crooked, in an unmarked car, watches the action on the street. As you can see here clearly, Andre is sitting here watching what's going on. And this is the pilot script that Lionsgate and Stars had of my material. And the same thing is happening. Another thing they picked out of my material is Soul Kittens has an employee that comes outside of the venue to smoke. Now, mind you, this is not in the play, because in my play, I was on stage. So I could not have a car pull up and somebody walk out. I couldn't have all those things happen. But in the pilot script called Curtains, which was the spinoff, the derivative of Soul Kittens Cabaret, it very clearly says an employee pulls up, an employee comes outside the venue to smoke. A dirty cop pulls up, threatens the employee with arrest. There's some funny business going on, the cop says. The cop is invited inside, but the cop declines, citing moral issues. That happens in Soul Kittens Cabaret. Guess where it happens? It happens in P Valley, the exact same way. Girl comes outside to smoke. Matter of fact, it wasn't a girl. It was Uncle Clifford going outside to smoke. Cop pulls up, says there's some funny stuff going on. Uncle Clifford invites the cop in. The cop says no because morally it's against it. And that's all written in my script that was left with them as well. This is another issue that the judge said was an issue, right? And if you're on Instagram, I'm sorry, you guys, I'm on YouTube, and the YouTube people see all the graphs and whatnot. So the judge said that because my character arrived by cab and their character arrived by bus, that those didn't quantify as two forms of public transportation. I mean, all I can do is say we disagree, and we hope the appeals court disagrees, because he said your character arrived by a cab, their character arrived by the bus. It's not the same. Well, in Soul Kittens Cabaret, in the write-up for the pilot, it says, a lean, wiry, mysterious new girl arrives by cab. She's taken in the sights, drawn to the city. The cab driver warns her about the town, and she ignores him. The same thing happens in P Valley. Remember when Autumn first came and she got off the bus and the bus driver said, hey, what you doing, girl? You don't want to go over there? He warned her it was dangerous. She said, I don't care. She took her little red vintage suitcase and she went on down, walked to the pink. Same exact thing happened in my Soul Kitten script. Also, mysterious new girl checks into a seedy hotel run by prostitutes. And as you can see here in my script, you see where it's written in the script that these are the directions and this is what happened. And the same thing happens in P Valley. So I could go on and on and on. There's a shirtless male performance in the end. You got a spirit. This was Fantasia. You got the spirit performing as well. You guys, I don't even know what to say anymore at this point. I don't know what to say about why I have to pay them $600 and something thousand. I don't know why my case was not allowed to go to a jury. I don't know why I'm not allowed to have the ownership that I wanted to demand, the same as Tyler went in there demanding. I don't know why these people are doing this to me. But I can tell you this, I'm going to tell the truth about it. And if it shames the devil, oh well, so be it. Because when my grandson looks at me years from now and wonders why I was always online ranting about this, wonders why we don't have the things that we should have in our family because we had to give them to a $1 billion company that took our intellectual property. Because all of those things that I showed y'all were not enough to convince a judge that I deserve to go to trial. I'm not trying to convince a judge that I deserve to win my case, although that is how I feel. I was simply trying to convince the judge that I deserve, based on the fact that I left all of these materials with the CEO of the company, and they are substantially similar, that my family deserves a trial. After 4 years and $1 million plus to my attorneys, and they tried to make the judge make me pay $1.5 million, but he gave me a break, and I only had to pay like $650 or something like that. But I still got, my lawyer fees. I have my expert that still has to be paid, even though his report got through. I mean, they threw out the report, and I still got to pay $50,000 for it. They threw it out. Like, the expert said, no, I agree with her. This is not right. This is, Surely this has been taken from her. And the judge said, nope, I don't care what you say. And he threw it out. And I still have to pay $50,000 for something that is in the trash, literally. We deposed the CEO of Lionsgate because the magistrate court said that she felt like we deserved the opportunity to depose him because based on the information she saw, he had some things that he needed to explain. And he did. He talked. We deposed him. And they redacted all of it, meaning they blacked it out so nobody can see what he said. Nobody can see what Katori said. Nobody can see what Nico said. Nobody could see what any of those people said. Nobody could see what any of those people said because the judge decided they don't need to. And I know what they said. And I know that if a jury hears what they said, we're going to win this case. But I can't tell y'all what they said. Because then they'll sue me again. So I have to just hold it inside and pretend like it's not happening. Or I have to get on here and I have to share and pray that we have an opportunity once we get to this oral hearing in December. And that's the thing. The oral hearing was supposed to, initially they reached out to us for oral hearing for October, which would have been great because maybe they won't have enough time to take my house by October. But the defendants said they were busy in October. So then we said, okay, well, what about November? And then Katori, who for some reason hired a separate lawyer, her lawyer said, oh, I'm busy. I got something I'm doing. I can't do November either. So now they done pushed it back to December because they don't want to go to this oral hearing with this 3 panel of appeals judges. Obviously, they're not making it a priority, which means that they have more time to collect on their judgment because the judge said, I don't care if it's an appeal and I'm not issuing a stay on the collection of the judgment. Y'all can go get your money tomorrow, basically. And I got all of this proof and all of this evidence, and it means nothing to anybody except, hopefully, the Ninth Circuit. Black people don't get justice. It's just us. Unless we luck up on people who understand how difficult it is to fight multi-billion-dollar companies for your intellectual property rights and stand up for it. Now, they've lost almost 1 million subscribers. Their revenue is down. I don't know if their revenue is down 8%, which probably doesn't mean anything to them. And I believe that karma and the universe is more powerful than any of us. And I believe they're going to get what they got coming. But it doesn't make it any easier as an independent producer and an independent creator to deal in the reality that I was not given a fair shot. And not only was I not given a fair shot, typically, people pay their own legal fees. But that is not the case with me. He decided that to teach me a lesson, he was going to make me pay their legal fees with all the evidence that I have. And all I can do is tell y'all about it. And you decide for yourself whether you want to support that company. You decide for yourself whether you want to continue to allow corporate greed to destroy Black families. I work my ass off, not just for myself. I work my ass off for so many people. I've created so many opportunities for people to work. I haven't always made the right decisions. I have not been perfect by any stretch of the imagination. But I've always tried to be fair and decent and a human being that created opportunities for other people. And this is the thanks I get for spending years of my career trying to just improve the lives of people in my community. And because I'm just built strong, God know I got a big back. He gave it to me. Big back. A big, strong husband, a beautiful, wonderful family, people who love me and care about me and support me. I can't imagine if I did not have a lot of those things that I have that helped me through this, how I would be able to make it through this. But I'm not gonna let it break me. I'm not gonna let it destroy me. Y'all gonna see me ranting in the car when I be really thinking about this shit. And I think that's really been good for my mental wellness and my mental health. Just being able to to talk about it and to make sure that one or two people knows the truth about Stars, Lionsgate, and Katori Hall. It feels like slavery. It does. It feels like slavery. It feels like racism. It feels like hate. Because why? I got 57 substantially similar scenes and characters. The play that I wrote is about a non-binary, gender fluid person who owns a club he inherited from a loved one who's in a down low relationship. The club sits on valuable land and is up for a casino grab. And a new girl who comes out of nowhere and wreaks havoc with a red vintage suitcase. And an old vintage person that's been in there for a while that's going to open up a spot for women. And it gets saved in the end by a person nobody likes. It's the same beginning, the same middle, the same end. And I wrote that story all by myself. And I copyrighted it 20 years ago in 2004. And y'all paid Katori $100 million to steal it from me. Or so I believe and feel. And she did it. So I believe and feel, allegedly. And I can't even really talk about it like I want to talk about it because I don't have First Amendment rights when it comes to court and speaking the truth about how I feel about a judge giving somebody license to take my home, to take my royalties, to take our cars, to take all of our shit because we asked about a case as clear as the one we have.
Finish the sentence. If I knew then what I know now, I would have.
Ooh, if I knew then what I know now, I would have picked my partners more wisely.
Okay. We're just gonna let that.
We're gonna let that.